Hey guys, welcome back to the Rustic Studio. Today I'm going to be teaching you the basics on how to draw with charcoal. This lesson is for those of you who are inexperienced with charcoal or for those of you who are new to art and drawing in general. So I put a couple of links in the description box below that will give you a little more information about the elements and the principles of art. It's very important that you learn those before you begin learning to draw, so I highly recommend checking those out before proceeding with this video. So once you've done that, let's go ahead and get started here. So basically, charcoal is burnt organic material of some kind, and it comes in a few different forms. We've got pencils, of course. We've got charcoal powder, there's compressed charcoal, which is basically the powder but it's compressed into these little sticks. And we've got charcoal vines, which consist of either burnt willow wood or charred grapevines. But today we're just going to focus on the pencils. Charcoal is very messy. It's almost kind of like a bunch of powder or dust that's just compacted together. There are a lot of different brands that you can choose from, but I highly recommend either Derwent or General Pencil. Those are two really good brands of charcoal that you can use. Now most charcoal pencils will say hard, medium, and soft on the side here. Mine say light, medium, and dark, but it means the same thing. If it says hard or light, the harder the pencil is, therefore less charcoal will come off onto the paper and the lighter it'll appear. If it says soft or dark, the softer it is, therefore the more charcoal will come off onto the paper and the darker it'll appear. Also, the softer it is, the easier it is to blend. And if it says medium, it's just in between. It's just a combination of both. Now most packages of charcoal pencils will also come with a white pencil, which is especially useful for creating highlights and drawing fine details, so I'm gonna teach you how to use that today as well. Now I'm gonna show you a couple of blending tools that you can use to blend charcoal with. This one here is called a blending stump, and this is what it looks like when you use it. And you can also use an old soft paintbrush, which is actually my favorite tool to use to blend charcoal because it seems to blend the charcoal out a lot smoother in my opinion. But you can use whichever blending tool you'd like, whichever one works best for you. You can also see here how the soft charcoal blends out a lot smoother versus the hard charcoal, which doesn't blend as well because it's not soft enough. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of practice here. Today we're going to be drawing a pear, which is really simple. Make sure that you are using some real drawing paper. Let's stay away from copy paper and stuff like that. Most drawing paper is acid-free, which is important because it helps prevent the paper from yellowing over time. And just about any brand of drawing paper will be just fine. It's always important to draw on a soft surface. Never draw on a hard surface because you could pick up the textures of that surface from underneath your paper. It's much easier to draw and blend on a soft surface, so make sure you have a nice soft pad of paper. So let's go ahead and start practicing. First, I'm going to use the hard or light pencil, and I'm going to ever so lightly, without applying hardly any pressure at all, I'm just going to lightly sketch out an outline of the shape of my pear. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it's not supposed to be. Pears come in all different shapes and sizes. It's important that you draw it lightly without applying a lot of pressure, so that if you make a mistake, it can be easily erased without leaving any marks behind. Now using the same pencil, I'm going to ever so lightly sketch some little circles that will depict where my highlights are going to be. Make sure you know where you want your light source to come from first. Mine is going to come from the left side, so the highlights will be on the left side of the pear. Next, we're going to use the medium grade pencil, and I'm going to color in the pear, and I'm just going to go around my little highlights here. And make sure that you keep your pencil moving in the same direction. Also, try to be careful to not rest your hand on the paper too much, because you could easily smear the charcoal all over everywhere. Then, using my old paintbrush, I'm going to blend until it looks nice and smooth. It's okay if you blend into your highlights a little bit, but try not to cover them up completely. Next, I'm going to use the soft or dark pencil, and I'm going to start adding some shading in here. Since my light source is coming from the left side, most of the shading will be on the right side of the pear. I'm also going to bring my shading kind of into the middle of the pear just a little bit to make it look like we've got some little indentations in there, which will also give it a little more form. And I'm going to add just a little bit of shading on the left edge of the pear, which is really going to help give the pear a lot of depth and make it look three-dimensional. Then, using the brush, we're going to blend it out until it's nice and smooth. Now I'm going to use the soft or dark pencil again and make it just a little bit darker on the rightmost edge and around the bottom of the pear, and kind of deepen those indentations a little bit to add a little more depth. And we'll just blend it out. At the top of the pear, we're going to make it really dark in this little hole here where the stem is coming out. And we're just going to give that a little more dimension and depth there. And then we'll just blend it just a little bit, but not too much, so it'll still look dark. And we don't have to do too much to the stem, just make it slightly darker on the right side since the light is hitting it from the left. So, this is called a kneaded eraser. It is what it sounds like. You can squish it or knead it into whatever shape you'd like. In this case, I'm going to pinch it here and form a little edge, a little point. And then I'm going to use it to clean up the highlights and draw in a few additional highlight details. Now, using the medium grade pencil again, let's go ahead and add some fine details like little natural marks and spots. For this, you will need to make sure the pencil is really sharp and pointy so you can draw those teeny tiny details. And you can just put them anywhere you'd like. Sometimes when you go to the grocery store and you're in the produce section, sometimes you'll notice that the apples and pears and everything will have some bruises and scratches on them from being dropped or knocked around. Well, let's add some of those little marks and scratches on there. And have you ever noticed how pears have these teeny tiny little dots all over them? Well, using the white pencil, we're going to add some of those on there as well. But keep in mind, the white pencil will be much easier to see in the darker areas of the drawing. Now, using a black eraser, just gently erase some of the charcoal smudges from around the outer lines of the pear to make it look cleaner. Then take the softest or darkest pencil you have, and without breaking your pencil, just apply a little bit of pressure and draw a shadow beneath your pear and over to the side so it looks like you've got a shadow behind the pear. You always want to make sure that your shadow is on the opposite side from where your highlights are. Then use the brush to gently blend it outward. And you're done! I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson video. Please feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd like to see more lesson videos like this one, then don't forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to see more of my art and all things creative and inspirational, please feel free to check out my Instagram. I put the link to it in the description box below. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all again soon.